Welcome back to my channel, Jason Pye. I'm Jason Pye. I'm a Los Angeles contractor and designer, and today we are going through Ask the Contractor. Now, this is a very fun series I've been doing. I think I have like 3 videos down. This is episode 4. Go watch it right over here. And I promise, if you have questions about hiring a contractor, where to start, what questions you should be asking those contractors, and kind of the forward thinking that you need to get into the mental state of your project, these videos are for you. I promise you. Go through them, listen to those questions. You can even just read the bio if you want to. I'm gonna have everything kind of typed out there for you. It's really important to have a clear game plan set when doing projects like this. And I recommend just listening to those videos. They're not that long. You can even listen to them at 2 times speed if you don't want to hear the sound of my voice. But if you do and you want to stick around, I try to put some personal stories into these things to give you a sense of why these questions are important, and hopefully they help. So let's get into it. Today we have 2 questions, and they're really more about you, not necessarily about the contractor. And I'll explain. Question 1 is, what precautions will you be taking as the contractor to protect my home? Okay, that's number 1. And number 2 is going to be, how do you deal with change orders? Okay. Or extra charges. Okay, they're more about you because it's really, how do you want those things to be dealt with? I think every contractor has their own method, and we'll get into all of that stuff, but I really want to just turn the camera on you, and I want you to think about those answers. If you are in a situation where you've agreed upon, let's just talk about a really small item. You're going to buy a pair of sunglasses, and you're going to pay $5 for it. So you want to know, do the glasses come with a repair kit? Do they come with a case? Do they come with the cleaning cloth? Okay, right? And then, hold on a second. Am I paying $5 for the glasses, or are you going to charge me more for all the other stuff? Right? So think about that scenario for yourself, and then really think about how you want to handle that. Are you willing to pay for the case? Are you willing to pay for the cloth? Are you willing to pay for the repair kit? Are you willing to, deal with all that stuff? Or are you okay with the glasses kind of getting damaged throughout it, and maybe later on you're going to buff them later, right? So just think about those things. I'm going to go through it all in detail, starting right now. We're going to go through question 1, which is, what precautions do you take when working on property? And then we'll hit question 2 with the additional change orders. So let's get into it. Question 1 is, what precautions will you take to protect my property? This is a necessary question to ask. If you do not ask this question, don't be surprised when the stuff that's in your house gets dirty and gets ruined and it gets broken, okay? These things, the answer can range from just putting tarps over things or actually removing things. Now, obviously, it depends on the scope of your project. If you're doing a massive renovation, well, the question is, are you removing all of your personal items, or is it on the contractor to remove those items? Is there a bin on site that they can move things into that are important? Are they going into a room and covering everything, moving it all to the center and taping it down? Or is that not suffice? So it really depends on the full project. But I think, like I said in the beginning, it really depends on you. So what the scope of the project is going to determine the necessary protection needed. But you want to know what proper protocols that contractor has in place to do those things. For instance, like I've mentioned in many of my videos, 90% of my projects are new construction projects. So if you said, hey, I want you to do this remodel for me, but keep in mind, my house is staying where it is, all my furniture is staying there, I would tell you, hey, beware. My projects are not the cleanest, right? Like, I can come through and do a cleaning, but I can't do it every day. I can't be there all the time to make sure your stuff isn't completely clean. So I want to make sure that I'm communicating what my capabilities are, and say, what are your needs? Right? You want to, should we pay for a storage unit right down the block and move everything there? And right, like, okay, that might cost us an extra 10 grand overall, but maybe there's a place I can fit that into my budget to accommodate, right? Maybe I can remove something from my line items as my responsibility, reduce my cleaning line item by that much to make sure that can get done, or maybe you can come up. But that becomes a conversation, right? It becomes a I need this. How can I help you get it? So there's a lot of different ways to do this. There's floor protection, there's, taping, plastic, tarps, all that sort of stuff. And everyone has their own method of how to do those things. And like I said, just you need to take some time to think about your needs for that, and then listen to how other contractors will answer that question, know what your needs are, and then depending on their response, you can then communicate your needs and see if those are possible. Sometimes it just might not be possible. Like if I'm redoing the whole house, right? I'm redoing all of the floors in the whole entire house. I'm gonna say, look, we don't need to move all of your stuff into storage, but it's gonna be moved around. It's gonna get dinged up. It's, how important are these items? Are you gonna be upset if it's super dirty and you need to hire a cleaning company to do a super deep clean on your couch? Well, then you might want to consider it. That's question one. I hope that helps in terms of thinking of ways that you can be proactive in taking caution in your home and protecting your property. Let's get into question number two. Question number two is, how will additional charges be dealt with? Basically, change orders. Home improvement projects can be very unpredictable, and it's kind of hard to really know what you're going to get into, right? So it's very common to have something called a change order. So a good contractor should be very clear about how they spend those dollars, when they're approved or not approved, and how they communicate that there needs to be a change order. All of that stuff should be in your initial contract. How are change orders dealt with? So let's get into this a little bit. I think change orders are a unfortunate part of our job. For me, I do everything I can to get at least 90% clear on the job in full scope before I even start. So my goal is to eliminate change orders. The truth is, I hate giving change orders. I hate asking for change orders. I personally even hate paying for change orders when I get them. So I'm right there with you as a client saying, I really don't want change orders. And my goal is to eliminate change orders in a job. Like if I don't give you a change order, I've succeeded tremendously on that project. So it's a very, very serious thing for me. And not everyone is like that. Not everyone wants to put in the work to figure that thing out. Like I have a process that gets me there, right? And it's not free. It's expensive. It's part of my process in working with somebody. Not everyone is going to sign up for that. It's not right for everybody. But if it is, we have a really good process throughout the project. I'm not going to hit you with a change order and you don't have to be hit with one. But it's really important that you know how you deal with them. So for me, I do everything I can to communicate during the project. So I'll give you for instance. So if I'm doing a set of stairs and the design has a design in it, and this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to do it, and the client says okay, and we go ahead and we do it, and it's done. And I'm walking through the staircase, and this has actually happened, so I'm not making this up. We go into the house, and I'm holding the handrail, and it's really loose. It's like not sturdy at all. And I go, well, this is the design. Like if we change this, we have to add more of this, add more of that, redo this, redo that. And I said, if we changed the post design, I think we'd be perfect. And the client didn't answer right away. They kind of thought about it and thought, do we want to do this? Do we not want to do this? Do we want to, try to figure out how to envision this appropriately? What engineering pieces are we missing to sturdy this up? Once we really thought about it, we were all okay with doing a change. And they were aware that there was going to be a change. It was kind of obvious, like, hey, we did something, no one's happy with it. It sucks, but it's no one's fault. Like we did what was scoped. I did it, but it didn't work. It doesn't mean it's my responsibility to pay for it just because of that. It just meant that we needed to figure something else out. And it was either going to be this at some level with small changes to kind of make it work, or a completely different product that was going to work for everybody. So we took this as an experience to kind of figure out like, okay, before you just throw a change order out at somebody, have a conversation with somebody. So that's kind of how I deal with it. Usually there's a cost plus element to it. So I might say, hey, like this is going to be this much cost plus my percentage on top of it to deal with this. Or I might just say, hey, I've gotten the price. This is what the price is going to be. You know, do you want to do it or not? Most contractors just do the price, because when you're doing the cost plus, sometimes it can be a little bit eye-opening to the client and they might not appreciate that, or they might really appreciate that. So it's a difference in client and who you're dealing with. Some really do appreciate it, but they also have to understand that the contractor does need to make money, and that percentage, whatever the percentage is, by the way, that ranges from 10% to 35% from what I've seen. Everyone's different. Everyone's overhead's different. Everyone's cost is different. Everyone's time is different. And there's no way to properly state that it should be a number. So keeping that in mind, it's just really important that whatever decision is made, that it's also in the contract as to how it's going to be handled. Because you don't want someone who's going to jump back and forth between how it should be handled. You want to know that if you're up against something, and you're dealing with a problem or dealing with a solution even, that you're both on the same page as to how it'll be taken care of. I hope this video helps. If it does, go ahead, watch the other 3 videos, and I will see you on the next video. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, something you just want to know about and you want me to get to it, please leave them down below. I would love to answer your questions. I look forward to the next video, and I'll see you there.